Hello everyone, this is the Akizuki Guide team. For the first guide video of ZenlessZoneZero, we decided to start with a character introduction to help everyone understanding which characters are best. Before we dive into the character introductions, it's essential to explain the how agents are classified. There are 5 different roles: attack, stun, support, anomaly, and defense, which are used to categorize characters' expertise in different areas. Attack characters are the main damage dealers in the team. Stun characters mainly focusing on accumulate imbalance points to assist the main attackers. Anomaly characters can quickly cause enemies to suffer from status effects, enhancing damage output with high anomaly multipliers. Support characters play a supportive role within the team, providing buffs to allies or debuffs to enemies. Defense characters are the tanks of the team, sacrificing some offensive power and mobility for additional defense. Additionally, each agent masters a style of combat and corresponding attributes. The 3 combat styles are Slash, Strike, and Pierce, and the attributes are Physical, Ice, Fire, Electric, and Ether. We will get into the specific characters shortly. In the core abilities of characters, some require having teammates from the same faction or with the same attributes to trigger additional capabilities, which significantly enhance their performance. Thus, when pulling and selecting characters, it's better to form teams based on same attributes or factions. Now, let's focus on the characters currently available in the game, starting with my favorite, Ellen Jo. Ellen Jo S-tier attack Kara, attack types: Ice, Slash. She's the main damage dealer in Ice Team during 3rd beta. Firstly, let's talk about Slash attacks. Slash is suitable for melee characters, such as chainsaws, knives, and other weapons that fall into the Slash category. Some Slash characters can ignore ranged projectile attacks while running. As for Ice attribute characters, when the Ice attribute anomaly is triggered, it applies the freeze and frostbite effect to the enemy. Freeze can encase all types of enemies, stopping their actions. Freeze lasts for a duration, but can be prematurely ended by taking attacks. When it ends, it triggers the shatter effect, causing a significant amount of Ice attribute damage and interrupt enemies' movement. Frostbite can enhance the character's critical damage when attacking monsters during the duration of the buff. Turning back to Ellen, she has a very unique mechanic called Roaming Hunt. By holding down the dodge button, she enters Roaming State. Performing a charged scissor attack during the state can gain Flash Freeze charge. During normal attacks, or dodge attacks, each attack will consume 1 Flash Freeze charge point, converting the attack from a physical property to a higher multiplier Ice attack. In the 3rd test, Ellen captivated a large number of players with her high and stable damage output, excellent mobility, and immunity to ranged projectile attacks while sprinting at high speeds. Additionally, her stylish but seemingly lazy maid appearance makes her irresistibly charming. We recommend, if capable, players can pull 2 to 3 carapaces, whether talent A or B. Both can greatly improve the attack cycle. If you are Reach, pulling 5 is the best choice. The talent will unlock the ability that whenever any member in the team applies Freeze effect to enemy, it will provide Ellen with 6 points of Flash Freeze charge. Soldier 11, S-tier attack Kara, attack types: Fire, Slash. She's the main damage dealer in Fire Team during their beta. Fire attribute characters can inflict the burn effect on enemies for a duration after the fire element anomaly is triggered. Burn causes intermittent continuous damage to enemies unconditionally and deals the highest damage among all attribute anomalies. Fire attribute attacks are effective against organic type enemies and can interrupt the actions of all organic type enemies when Burn is triggered. Soldier 11 is a member of the Obol Squad. She is the only member of the Obol Squad appearing in the game. The Obol Squad is a military unit composed of elite members, and Soldier 11 is naturally an elite, which is well reflected in her attack mode. When Soldier 11 performs normal attacks, if the normal attack button is pressed in a specific pattern, it will trigger fire suppression, replacing her original physical attacks with fire attribute attacks of a higher multiplier. Therefore, to play Soldier 11 effectively, one needs to spend a considerable amount of time practicing her attack pattern. This undoubtedly increases the difficulty for new players, but it also attracts many players who are up for a challenge. Of course, even if players cannot trigger fire suppression every time, it doesn't mean this character is unplayable. After using X special attack, chain attack, and ultimate, the character can forcibly enter fire suppression mode, lasting 15 seconds or 8 attacks. Thus, as long as players utilize this properly, even players who didn't master can also enjoy the play. If you're considering pulling her, as a highly challenging character, Soldier 11's talent bonuses are also quite substantial. Talent A provides energy recovery, indirectly reducing some operational difficulties. Talent B significantly enhances her damage output, and Talent D ensures her survivability. Fully unlocking Talent F, which ignores 25% of fire resistance, is extremely valuable. Ane Mana S tier attack, Chara, attack types, physical / This brings us to physical characters. The physical attribute is the most basic attack attribute. In the absence of triggering their own mechanisms, the normal attacks of other attribute characters are generally also physical. The characteristics of physical attacks are closely linked to the physical anomaly buildup mechanism. Triggering an anomaly can apply the assault and flinch effect to enemies for a period of time. Assault, when triggered, can interrupt the actions of all types of enemies. Attacking enemies in the flinch state also increases the imbalance value they receive. It can be said that the physical attribute anomaly is the most straightforward and brute force method, enhancing the efficiency of causing daze to the enemy. Turning back to Mana, as an S-tier attack Kara, she neither has high damage multipliers nor anomalous attributes. She possesses only the most straightforward physical attacks and unmatched agility. Her normal attack consists rapid combos during the normal attack, either holding down the attack button or in the final segment of the attack. There's a 33.3% chance to trigger a feature that rapidly repeats the attack 3 times. Due to her core passive ability, Mana's damage heavily relies on dodge counter or hit support. Only after a successful dodge counter attack or defense support that grants a significant damage boost can she compensate for her lack in numerical multipliers. The first thing that comes to mind here is relying on support characters who can add buffs through their traits while successfully triggering Mana's defense support to maximize benefits. Unfortunately, during the 3rd beta test, there were no support characters specifically for physical attributes, so Mana does not have any advantages compared to other attack characters, so we don't recommend pulling her, but if you really like her. Von Lycaon S-tier stun character, attack types, Ice, Strike. He is the stunner for the Ice attribute team. This is the first stun character introduced in this video. Stun refers to using unarmed attacks, that is, attacking without weapons, which is a characteristic that can be easily distinguished. As a handsome werewolf, Lycaon displays tremendous strength in the game. As a stunner, under the enhancement of his core passive, Metallic Paw, he can quickly bring enemies into a state of daze. Additionally, his core skill's additional ability, which activates when there are characters of the same attribute or faction in the team, increases the stun damage multiplier by 35%, bringing significant benefits on damage output to the Ice team. Pulling suggestion. Lycaon can enter the field without any talents, but with Talent A, he can deal 15% increased daze to enemy with his special attacks. Koleda Belleberg S-tier stun character, attack types, Fire, Strike. She is the stunner for the Fire attribute team. As a stunner, Koleda can quickly bring enemies into a state of daze and uses her additional ability, Bellebog Management, to increase the damage enemies take from chain attack. When appearing alongside her fellow Bellebog Heavy Industries team member, she can also enhance the multiplier of her own skills. Her core passive, Demolition Hammer, can enhance her next normal attack, increasing both damage and daze ratio. Demolition Hammer is activated after using X Special Attack or consumes Furnace Fire. Pulling Suggestion, a special character for fire attribute teams. She can be effective on the field without any talents, focusing stun efficiency. Talent A and B are sufficient. Alexandrina Sebastian S-tier support character. Attack types: Electric Strike. She is the head maid of the Victoria Housekeeping Koem and the only support type S character. Electric attribute characters can inflict a shock effect on enemies for a duration after the electric anomaly is triggered. Under the effect of shock, enemies receive additional electric damage every second when attacked again. Electric attacks counter machine-type enemies and can interrupt the actions of all machine-type enemies when shock is triggered. Alexandrina is primarily active in electric attribute teams. Her core skill, Banquet of Perfection, provides a significant electric damage boost, and her mini destruction partner, Core Passive, can greatly enhance the damage output of electric teams, making it one of the few teams that can form a complete mono-attribute team early release. As a support character, Alexandrina rarely showing up directly in the field. She only needs to enter the field to maintain the duration of Mini Destruction Partner, which can bring great benefits to the team. If you plan to build an electric team, then pulling her talent A can significantly increase the duration of Mini Destruction Partner, thereby enhancing overall damage outputs. For those who can afford it, fully unlocking her talents can offer a completely different experience. Grace Howard, S-tier anomaly character. Attack types: Electric, Piercing. She was the only anomaly type character during the third beta, and is also the core anomaly character in current anomaly teams. Her attack method is Piercing, which refers to using firearms for ranged attacks. Grace, known as the big sister who adores machines, has a quirky personality, but is actually very meticulous and serious. She treats all the machines in the game as her children, and is the natural enemy of all mechanical type enemies. Grace's attack methods involve long-range physical shooting mixed with mid-range electric grenades. During a normal attack combo, only the third strike throws an electric grenade, carrying electric attribute damage, though the overall multiplier for her normal attack cycle is not high. However, her core passive Pre-Drive Needle allows Grace to accumulate Zap through normal attacks, accumulating with each segment of her attacks. Upon reaching the maximum of 8 stacks, the grenade on her left leg flashes with electricity. At this point, using Special Attack, or X Special Attack, will consume all stack of Zap and greatly increasing the electric anomaly buildup value for that move. It's worth noting that ranged characters in ZenlessZoneZero, unlike melee fighters, can insert special attacks, X special attacks, dash attacks, and dodge counters without breaking the current normal attack chain. Appropriately inserting special attack to consume Zap can greatly speed up the rate of anomaly accumulation. For players who wish to pull her, it is recommended to get at least Talent A or Talent B to enhance the whole team's effectiveness in the field and accelerate the pace of anomaly accumulation. Lastly, let us introduce a limited character who only appeared in the latter half of the third beta, Zhu Yuan. S-tier attack character. Attack types: Piercing, Ether. Once the Ether attribute anomaly is triggered, it applies the corruption effect on enemies for a duration. Attacking enemies in the corruption state will deal additional Ether damage, and this effect has a very short cooldown of about half seconds. Using characters with high-frequency attacks during corruption can trigger additional Ether damage multiple times, significantly increasing damage output. Ether attacks are effective against energy-type enemies and can interrupt the actions of all energy-type enemies when corruption is triggered. As a Sheriff Big Sister, Zhu Yuan showcases her impressive and swift combat style in battles, with powerful bursts and flexible attack patterns that help players eliminate all enemies. In combat, although Zhu Yuan uses firearms, her support actions are like other shooting characters using dodge support instead of parry support. Her normal attacks are melee type, which means she can't insert other commands without interrupting the current attack chain. However, Zhu Yuan's main damage dealing is not melee. her core damage relies more on a different set of attack modes enhanced by her unique ability. When she holds down the normal attack button, her mode switches from assault mode to suppression mode for long-range, wide-area shooting. If suppression mode is used while having enhanced shot shells, each attack will consume one shell, enhancing the attack and causing substantial ether damage. Using X Special Attack, Chain Skills, and Ultimate can reload 3 enhanced shot shells, and the 5th of normal attack chain can reload 1 shell. As for pulling recommendations, the benefits of Ju Yuan's talents, whether it's the damage increase from Talent B or the 25% ether resistance ignore from Talent D, are significant. Therefore, it's recommended for capable players to pull 3 copies to activate Talent B. And next is an introduction of A-tier characters and suggestion on pulling them. Anbi Damara, A-tier stun character, attack type is Electric / one of 3 starter characters. As an initial character, Anbi's performance is quite average, but the action system custom designed by Emi Hoyo provides new players with a thrilling combat experience from the start. As a stun character, her damage isn't high, and she lacks any special mechanisms, mainly serving to help players quickly get familiar with the game. Her talent improvements are standard, and her abilities are sufficient to play the role of a stunner in an electric attribute team, making her very user-friendly. Nicole Damara, an A-tier support character, with attack types Ether and Strike, one of the 3 starter characters. As a support character, Nicole's damage multiplier is extremely low, making her skill damage almost negligible, and any damage she provides in the field is essentially a waste of space. However, as a support, Nicole's value is still considerable. She not only has a wide-range skill that can pull enemies together, but her own Ether attribute Anomaly, when paired with characters can do damage in high frequency, can also deliver outstanding damage. Additionally, her core passive that reduces enemy defense can provide significant extra output for the main damage dealers in challenging battles. Sukaku, an A-tier support character with attack types Ice and Slash, a strong support for the Ice attribute team. Although Sukaku does not have high damage output capability, and her attack movements are somewhat cumbersome, her excellent support abilities attract attention even from players not using Ice teams. Sukaku possesses great performance on pulling enemies together and clearing abilities, noteworthy buffs, and high values for Ice anomalies. In the game, by holding down the special skill button to deploy a banner that adds buffs to our side, she can, upon obtaining Talent 1, also reduce the enemy's resistance to Ice damage, thus enhancing the overall damage-dealing capacity of the Ice team. Considering only her support capabilities and not her damage output, Sukaku is adequate as is. After acquiring Talent 1 and Talent 4, her support capabilities can be further enhanced. If you wish to develop her into a damage-dealing type character, drawing her full set of talents can help compensate for her lack of output. Anton Ivanov, an A-tier attack character with attack types Electric and Piercing, currently the main damage dealer for the Electric attribute team. When energy is sufficient, using a special skill will enter a unique Burst mode. In Burst mode, the original attack mode is replaced, and normal attacks switch from physical to electric attacks. Although mobility decreases, damage output significantly increases, providing a substantial accumulation of electric attribute anomalies. Anton's energy is especially important in an electric attribute team. With Grace triggering anomalies, Anton engaging in Burst mode can bring immense damage benefits. The benefits from advanced talents will also be particularly noticeable at this time. If you plan to play Electric attribute team, it is recommended to invest him. Billy Kid, an A-tier attack character with attack types Physical and Piercing, one of 3 starter characters, and the only range attack character in the 3rd beta. The core passive has simple activation conditions. Holding down the normal attack button to enter crouch shooting mode directly triggers it, and the bonus is exceptionally great. Although the overall attack multiplier isn't high, the safe output position and stable high-frequency output make it highly favored. Paired with Nico, it can consistently produce a large amount of additional anomaly output. Though Kid is a robot, His stylish appearance and agile movements are reminiscent of the once popular DNF gunner. Its talents are as flexible as those of a gunner, enhancing its advantages with agile maneuvers. Ben Bigger, an A-tier defense character, with attack types Fire and Strike. During the third beta, he was the only defense-type character who could enter a defensive stance through a special skill and counterattack after receiving enemy attacks. Just as his physique suggests, he is rather cumbersome in the game, unable to run, and his movements are slow. However, this is compensated by his high defense and extremely wide attack range, making him a true pillar of the team. Facing enemies who attack in high frequency, if you can continuously blocking enemy attacks, which triggers his own defensive effects, and can deal significant damage, especially after acquiring talents 1, 2, and 4. This detail fully compensates for his lack of mobility. If you find it difficult to react to fast enemy attacks, consider trying Ben to help save those less dexterous players. When paired with Coletta Belloberg, he can enhance her skill multiplier. Corin Wicks, an A-tier attack character, with attack type Physical and Slash. As a pure physical melee attack character, Corin boasts the highest special enhancement skill multiplier in the third test, allowing her to quickly execute the Assault effect with her special enhancement skills, putting enemies into a flinch state, and accelerating the accumulation of imbalance values. However, Corin's movement is quite slow, and whether it's normal attacks or enhanced special skills, she needs to hold down the attack button. Being a melee character, although she has damage reduction bonuses while continuously attacking with enhanced special skills, her lack of flexibility in high-pressure environments significantly affects the playing feel. But a fully talented Corin can still deal considerable damage. Making videos is not easy, so for those who have made it this far, we hope you can give us a like. Your support is our motivation. In the next episode, we will bring you a basic tutorial video about the various features and options in the game. We welcome everyone to watch it after it's released. See you in the next episode.